Heather, thank you for being here. Thanks for the camaraderie on the Zoom grid that you have to pass the test to get into the system. Thanks for your camaraderie with that. So you can rest your hands in your lap and let yourself come in to your body and your heart, your breath and your mind, and also into your community, even though we're not in the same physical location, that we are here in the present moment in real time with each other. I'm going to recommend that when we sit for a little while here quietly together, let's come to the word preciousness, all that is precious, what you have in your heart, in your life that's precious. And even to feel the fundamental preciousness of life itself. It can be difficult to feel that which is precious without adding sentimentality to it. But I'm going to encourage you to sense it like in the raw state. What is precious? What do you hold precious? And to sense how that influences your heart, to bring into your awareness that which is precious to you. And it may be people, it may be qualities in people, it may be in the natural world, it could be in the spiritual world. There's no particular equation for how to reflect on this. And then invite into your awareness kind of a reflection of, okay, given what is precious, what gets in the way of that being a higher priority in your life? Maybe it's already relatively high, but are there times when things get in the way of that? And what are the nature of some of those things? And also, what does that feel like in your body to reflect on? There are times when you're pulled away from that which is most precious. There are times when you get diverted. What does that feel like in your body? And what do you know about those diversions or distractions? How they happen? And then return your awareness to that which is precious. You'll have a different body activation when you're reflecting on that. What is precious? Again, without adding like a sentimentality or a grasping, but to keep the awareness open. What is precious? And then please bring your hands together at your heart, and we're going to chant Asatoma Satgamaya. And let's begin. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorama amritam gamaya. Om asatoma satgamaya. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorama amritam gamaya. Om asatoma satgamaya. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorama amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands. Please open your eyes. This morning, I'm going to begin back on my seat on my mat, and I'd like you all to have 2 long folded blankets. We'll start with some seated pranayama, then I'm going to take you to a position and then come back up to the seated pranayama. So I'm going to switch my camera angle. Just having a moment of forgetting how to do it. I got it back. No worries. This is not like driving a car. You're not in any danger if I don't drive the Zoom room properly. Okay, so please come to your seat that you use for pranayama. Hello. Yeah. There you go. Make yourself comfortable. Okay, so we've been using the kriya method, the kriyas, the cleansing actions, sometimes called shak karmas, where you're cleansing, sad karma, the action of cleansing. So when we do this practice, I want you to sense the diaphragm here. And we're going to do as we were doing yesterday, bhastrika first, inhale to suspend, then bhastrika second round, inhale to suspend 3 times. We exhale through both nostrils, we exhale 1, and then the other nostril. When we do this, try to sense your capacity at the diaphragm. Then we're going to use these 2 blankets to see if we can increase that capacity, and then we'll come back before we do kappalabhati. So rest your hands out over your knees. Sit up tall, please. And let's begin. Complete exhale. Inhale through both nostrils. Suspend. Exhale through both nostrils. Of course, you don't have to suspend as long as I'm doing. Now deeply relax the belly. And then repeating, this time with 3 inhale suspensions. Let's begin. Inhale up to suspension. Exhale both nostrils. Inhale to suspension again. Close the right, exhale left. Inhale both nostrils. Close the left, exhale right. And deeply relax. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, side bend left without support so the arms stay up. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Now we're going to use the 2 blankets to do a little release for the diaphragm. This is based on Cicely's question yesterday, and I had mentioned the foam roller is an option. My roller's over here. But I'm going to show you how to do this with 2 blankets right now. So because the kriyas that we're doing do require you to have some strength at the diaphragm, but they also require you to have the ability to release at the diaphragm. I have to make sure this water glass doesn't get usurped by the cat. So what can be difficult about that is you need the strength of the diaphragm and you need the capacity to release the diaphragm. So here you have these 2 long blankets. Let's take the end of the blanket and roll it just a tiny bit. Okay, you're going to be placing your belly button there. I'd like you to put a block on each side of your blankets. Pardon me. So you're going to place the elbows on the blocks and the belly button goes on that little blanket roll. So you've got a stack of 2 blankets and you rolled one slightly and then you deliberately lie down on it. Okay, this is called belly bolster. This is a variation on the belly bolster. You can bow the head so you're gazing more towards your hands, not more up towards the computer or the TV screen. And see if you can encourage the belly bolster to be something your abdomen is relaxing around. You can roll your hips gently side to side. As you move across the abdomen, you might have places where there are strong sensations. You might have places where there's ease. So see what's happening for you. And then let's do it where you come to center. Not that, okay, no. And from the center, roll your hips down to the right a little bit. When you're rolling to the right, you're going to be touching into your right psoas. Bend your right knee and tip your right ankle a little bit out to the side. And then roll to center, lower your right foot. Roll a little bit to your left. Bend your left knee, tip your ankle a little bit out to the side. And then roll that one also back to center. Now you've been on the belly bolster for a minute or more, a little bit of time here. In a moment, we're going to release from the belly bolster, but for this moment, press down into your forearms like you're coming into seal pose or sphinx pose. Energize your legs behind you. Lift up through your heart and set your shoulders back right here. And breathe in. Okay, and exhale, release over the bolster enough to place your hands on the blocks. Press up to table pose. And you may have a warm sensation that goes from the upper belly down to the mid belly to the lower belly. And then you can put the blocks aside and bring your blankets back in for kappalabhati. So now we're going to check and see if the diaphragm might be a little easier to use. And maybe your diaphragm's going to have more stamina also. So taking a seat. So the diaphragm and the kappalabhati is faster than bhastrika because the opening is smaller. So the pace that you do it at has to be a little bit quicker so that you're not getting breathless. So my pace is mine. You can follow it or you can set your own pace. Okay, let's begin. Exhale. Then inhale lower, middle, and upper into suspension. Exhale through both nostrils. Deeply relax the belly, including your diaphragm. That capacity to fully relax the diaphragm between these pranayamas or these kriyas is also really important. So we aren't causing more tension, we aren't accumulating tension, we're actually releasing it. So now round number 2 with 3 inhale suspensions at the end. Let's begin. Exhale. Inhale to suspension. Exhale through both nostrils all the way to the end. And then inhale back to suspension. Close the right, exhale left. Now inhale left. Suspend. Close the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Suspend. Close the right and exhale left. And deeply relax your mind and your body. Interlace your fingers, raise the arms up. Exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, center. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist left. Come around to center and just reflect on any ease that might have come from being on the belly bolster. And now while we're here, we have 2 blankets and our blocks. We'll do one more thing before we stand up for the more sort of like asana practice. I'm going to ask you to put your blanket so you can lie backwards over them. Let me turn mine as a profile view so that you can see it that way. So when you lie backwards, you'll want to have a block for your head and try not to have the blankets be lumpy or disrupted so you don't feel that it's uneven for your upper back. You lie back and take one block on the medium setting for your head. So the arms can go out into a T shape in this position, right? They have permission to go out because they're on the back side of the blanket. You cannot drink that water, it's mine. And with your head supported, see to what extent your shoulders can relax down towards the floor. The upper arms, elbows, forearms, and hands can be heavy. And right across the solar plexus, the floating ribs, in this region where the blanket bolster was, picture a quality of deep relaxation. Now we're going to try relaxing that by using the squeeze release technique, which is one of the benefits of inhale suspension, is that you're toning the muscles that make the inhale suspension, and you're doing that while there's air in the torso. And then when you exhale, it can provide a deeper relaxation of some of these muscles. So while you're reclined backwards, please inhale lower, middle, and upper, and then suspend the breath up in the heart. So inhale suspension does increase the pressure system, and And then you release the three bandhas, the throat, the diaphragm, and the pelvic floor, and exhale completely. Invite the solar plexus to deeply relax. We are going to repeat this. When you're suspending the inhale, you snug the low abdomen in and up, and you are toning the muscles, as I was saying, that will get released during the exhale. So let's breathe in, up to suspension. And exhale to release. And then really deeply relax the belly. Like not just the muscles, but relax the habit of tension in the belly. And come back to the felt sense of what is precious to you. Invite that which is precious to be even more deeply absorbed in your body. And then please roll to your side. We're going to release this back bend position and come up to standing. You can put the two blankets aside and come up to the front of your yoga mat for surya namaskar. Okay, please rise up. Let me check that camera. I have to make it a little bit taller. It's going to cut the top of my head off, which you guys know I don't like to do. Looks funny. Okay. Please join your hands together at your heart. Surya Namaskar, the sun salutation. Greetings to the rising sun, we say. 1 second. Okay, we're going to use Ujjayi breathing now for Surya Namaskar. So when you're using Ujjayi, let the inhale be smooth, the exhale is smooth, and if possible, the inhale and the exhale are equal in length to each other. Let's begin. Inhale. Exhale, chair pose. Exhale, pause. Inhale, rise up to the inhale, pause. Exhale, Uttanasana. Come down slowly and complete the exhale into the pause. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. This time, exhale, bend your knees. So you're doing the lower half of chair pose. Inhale, rise up, chair pose. Again, acknowledge the inhale pause at the top of the breath. Now exhale, push down to go up. And inhale to a little standing back bend. Open the arms like the letter Y. And then exhale, palms face down. Push the air down alongside your torso and join your hands in Anjanae Mudra. Repeat. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Utkatasana. At the end of each part of the movement of the breath, there is the stillness of the pause. There's exhale, pause. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Tone the muscles of your legs. Come down so the pace of your movement and the pace of your breath have consistency. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, bend both knees to the lower part of chair pose. Inhale, chair pose. Now exhale, push down to rise up. Root your tailbone, reach upwards. And then inhale, little standing back bend. Let the hips come forward in line with your toes. Exhale, press down, reach up through the crown of your skull. Return your hands to your heart. We're going to add to that cycle. So inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Good. Exhale, Utkatasana. Inhale, glide up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Now exhale, bend both knees deeply, the lower half of chair pose. Left arm in the center. Inhale, twist right. Exhale, return. Right arm in the center. Inhale, twist left. Press your right arm back against your right shin bone. Exhale, return. Now inhale to chair pose. And again, exhale, push down to rise up. Use the downward strength of the legs to go up. Inhale, little standing back bend. And exhale, palms down as you return your hands to your heart. Now we're going to add to it again, stepping back to the lunge poses. So inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Touch the inhale, pause. Exhale, coming down to complete the exhale and respect the exhale pause. Inhale, glide your heart forward. Bend both knees, put the left arm in the center. Inhale, twist right. Exhale, return to center. Right arm to the center. Inhale, twist left. Exhale, return to center. Now this time, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Straighten your legs, glide your heart forward. And then exhale, left toes back, basic lunge pose. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. And exhale, press your arms down, gaze up. Inhale, rise up, gaze forward. Exhale, open the arms wide, gaze up. Inhale, raise your arms, lower third of the breath, middle third, the upper third of the breath. Good. Exhale, open the arms wide, open your chest, your heart, your throat, your gaze. Once more, inhale to go up. So the arms and the breath, the 3/3 of the breath are kind of working together there. Exhale, come forward and down. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. And exhale, right toes back. Complete the exhale, respect the exhale pause. And inhale to glide up. Yeah, good. Exhale, sweep the arms wide, open your heart, your throat, and your gaze. Inhale, glide up. So the pace of the breath and the movements and this synchronizing, that's really truly where your practice becomes more integrated, more effective. So at your inhale pace, gaze forward, raise your arms. At your exhale pace, open your chest, your heart, your throat, your gaze. One more. Inhale to rise. And then exhale to descend. Okay, great. Let's use both blocks. Place your hands firmly and step backwards to downward dog with your inhale. And then exhale, come forward to plank pose. Now step over one foot, point the toes, and inhale to seal pose. And then exhale, slide your shoulders back. Come forward with the heart. Good. Inhale, rise back up, seal pose. Yes. Exhale, plank pose. And then inhale, downward facing dog pose. Exhale, right foot forward, left foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva. And exhale, hands to the heart. Pause and stand in your plumb line. Just reflecting again, what is the inner feeling of your body when you think of the word precious, all that is precious. So the back bend position that we're doing in the crescent lunge, when you're pressing down and you're opening the chest and heart, the shoulders go back, and that back action is actually the same as cobra and seal pose. It's also bow pose and the back bend that we do from the floor. It's bridge pose. So when the arms are coming like that, I want you to accentuate the action right here at the head of the arm bone, at the upper part of the arm where it meets the shoulder socket. Let's do it again. Inhale, Urdhva. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, rise up, upward hands. Exhale, synchronize as you come down to Uttanasana. Synchronize between you and you, your mind, your breath, your body. Inhale, glide your heart forward. Okay, left toes back, basic lunge. Inhale, rise up, palms facing up. Now exhale, palms facing out, and as you come down to the back bend, really think of the shoulders going back, not just the wrists or the pinky fingers. And inhale, glide up, lift the back of your waist also so the cylinder of the torso is more expansive. And then press down as you exhale, shoulders back, collarbones wide. One more time. Keep the back leg steady and the back body expansive. So your back bend is really up in the heart and the collarbones and the shoulders. Inhale, go up. So your lower back should not feel compromised here. Now let's exhale and come over to airplane pose. And right here, I'm going to ask you to pause and broaden the back of the body like it's a parachute. Resist the urge to rest on your right thigh and rather energize your right hamstring, your right outer hip, the deep low belly. So your thigh and your torso have a relationship, they're touching, but the thigh and the torso are not collapsing towards the floor. And then lightly touch the two blocks and step to plank pose. From here, make the arms straight and strong. Pick up your right toes and step back to plank pose. Broaden the back parachute of the body. Step over your left toes and point the toes, then step over your right toes, lower your knees, lift your heart, and try the same feeling of the shoulders in the back bend. Yeah. So when the shoulders are pressing back like that, now glide the heart forward. Yes, good. And then inhale, raise your heart up and forward. Seal. And then exhale, plank pose. And downward facing dog pose. Now step your left foot forward between your hands for the other side. So make the back leg steady. And then inhale, rise up to your crescent lunge. Good. Now arms wide, set the shoulders back as you come into the back bend across the upper chest. Great, inhale to go back up. And exhale to open wide. Inhale, raise your arms, gaze forward. Think of the back body a little bit like plank pose here. And then exhale to open and think a little bit like seal pose here. One more time, inhale to go up. Think about the plank pose on the back of your body. And exhale, arms wide, airplane pose. So without resting your torso on your left thigh, in fact, you're kind of hovering. Keep the left hamstring and outer hip steady, and the right low belly lifted and toned. And then place your hands on the two blocks and be firm there. So you're increasing the strength of the belly now, and step back to plank pose. Then step over your right foot so the toes are pointed. Start lowering your knees down. Point your left toes. You're in seal pose. Yeah. And then come forward. Shoulders back, heart forward. Yep. Good. And then rise back up by rolling your shoulders back, and then strengthen your triceps and your arms. Good. Exhale. Plank pose. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. Exhale, left foot forward first this time. Right foot forward. Return to Uttanasana. And now inhale, glide up, or bhastrika. And exhale, hands to your heart. And consider again the word precious. Reflecting on that which is precious to you. And that which is precious in life. And release your hands, please. And now we're going to practice something that some of you have been doing with me for maybe about 2 weeks now, and others this might be new. You're going to put the hands so that the fingers point up, and it goes on the mid back and the lower back like this. So the shoulder presses back, and what's happening is your hand is backwards. No, it's not backwards. It's upwards. The fingers are pointing up. The heel of the hand is pointing down. And you can roll the shoulder back right here, and you're toning across the lower belly, but you're getting the shoulder girdle to move here. So when you place the hand like that, for some of you, it's going to be helpful if you help one hand to come into position. Like I just helped my fingers to get there on my right kidney. This is my right side right now. And so roll your right shoulder back. Hello to your right wrist. Yes. Now keeping the right foot forward, step your left foot back partway to the pose called parsvottanasana. We're not going all the way there just yet. Okay, lift the pubic bone, root your tailbone. Now see if you can find in the upper right chest the lift that becomes the back bend of this pose. With your left hand, reach over and hold the back of your head. So point the left elbow up. Raise your heart up, lift your collarbones up, roll the right shoulder back. Use the right hand to help keep the lower back on the right side stable. And then exhale, bring your head upright. Okay, release your left arm. Now see if you can keep the right arm in position as you come forward. I know this is going to be awkward. Take your left fingertips down to the block. For some of you, you're having a big stretch on your fingers, or maybe it's just on the hamstring, but for some, it's going to be the fingers, your wrist, your knuckles. Roll the right shoulder back to the best of your ability. Okay, breathe in. And then release your right hand and arm. Bring it down to match your left and come into parsvottanasana. So there's a myofascial release that's happening in the right shoulder girdle, even for the right lung, the right upper chest and heart. Perhaps for some of you under the collarbone, maybe in your wrist or in your fingers. Please reach back now from yesterday's class and interlace your hands behind your back. Roll the shoulders open. Gaze back towards your left heel. Parsvottanasana now has become a balance pose. Root down with your tailbone into your right foot and rise up to standing. Shoulders back. Release the clasp of your hands. Okay, step your left foot forward. I know that's not 100% comfortable, and I know you might have a yoga poses that started out that way. They weren't fabulous in the beginning, and then you come to enjoy them. So now the left hand, we're going to put the fingers pointing up. Roll your left shoulder back. Draw the left elbow in. And do your best. This is my more difficult side because this is actually my dominant hand. It's my right hand, but I'm calling it my left hand while I teach. So keeping your left foot forward, step your right toes back without stepping on your kitten. Root down through your tailbone. Take your right hand to hold the base of your skull. Reach up with your right elbow. So we are making a little back bend here. I'm not so concerned how much back bend can you have, but what is the upward action of the inner body towards your heart? And up into your collarbones. And then press the left shoulder back and the left elbow back as well. And then raise your right arm and your head up. We're going to come forward and do your best to keep your left hand on the small of your back there. Draw the left elbow and left shoulder back. I know it's gotten a little bit harder in this position because now gravity is kind of opposing you. And then release your left hand down next to your right. Parsvottanasana. Gaze back towards your right foot. Stabilize your legs and reach back to interlace your fingers and hands at the small of your back. Roll your shoulders open. Gazing at your right heel is one way to support your balance. Breathing smoothly is another way to support your balance. Keeping the legs energized will also help, especially as you rise up to stand. Keep the leg muscles toned. Root your tailbone down. And then release both arms and please step forward. Okay. Pause and notice. You might have some heat in your body. That sometimes happens when there's a myofascial release. Okay, now we're going to come back to the two blankets. We're going to look at the pose called Anjanae Asana. So please put your two blankets across your mat. You can stack them if they got kind of disheveled like mine did. These two blankets, when you have them folded like this, will be less stable. So you're going to have some need for your balance. Let's put the left knee on the blankets and step your right foot forward. So Anjanae Asana is a pose that we're going to use blocks for this morning. So I'd like you to have your 2 blocks on the tall setting. Since we elevated your knee back there, let's raise the blocks up too. Yeah, there you go. So when you're coming forward like this, the left knee stays on the blanket and your right knee doesn't need to come past your right ankle. Maybe it comes towards the center of your foot. It probably doesn't pass your toes. Press into your fingers and tone the low belly. Yeah, think of the back of the waist now like you did in plank pose. When you lift the inner belly, you may start sensing your left hip flexors. When you energize your arms and your fingertips, you may sense even more than just the hip flexors into the inner left belly, which is your iliacus and your psoas muscle, and up towards the back of the diaphragm. Now see if you can balance as you raise up, lift your heart, sweep your palms up. Yeah, so the pose is going to require some balance. Please don't sink into your right hip or your right knee, but keep reaching the inner body upwards. If you should feel, yes, that your right hamstring is active back through here. Yep. And the right knee lines up with the third toe on your right foot. Now sweep the arms down, press them down, press your shoulders back. And let's see if we can place the left hand on the mid to lower back, and then the right hand on the mid to lower back. Press down against the back of your pelvis to go up. And then as you release, place your blocks now medium, they're more stable. Raise your left toe so you're in the basic lunge. And you have to step your right foot over the little hurdle of the blankets, and then left foot forward over the hurdle of the blankets. Touch the right knee down and put the blocks back up on the tall setting. Press into your fingertips and your thumbs and lift the inner belly towards your back waist. And try to sense the back of your body again like plank pose. Notice the quality of the breath, the inner tone of the breath. And while you keep the inner belly toned and the back waist expansive, let's float up off of the blocks. So your left hip and hamstring do have responsibilities. Yep. So a rising upward quality from the inner body. And then sweep the arms wide, your collarbones wide. Now place your right hand first this time. And then the left hand. Good. Pull down with your hands on the back of your pelvis and sacrum. And go up with the inner body, a little bit of a back bend. The back bend is up in the heart, right? So it's not that the lower back is shaped like a paper clip right now. And then you're going to exhale, release, and let's place the 2 blocks again medium. They're more stable that way. Straighten your right leg behind you. Step your left foot over the blankets. Now you're in plank pose. And then touch your knees down to the floor, not to the blankets, but to the floor. And reach backwards to child's pose. Let's take a block for the head. Just make the blanket so they're not going to be bothersome to you for a moment. A block for the head. Forearms to the floor. When you place the forearms down now, try to relax the back of the body to really sense the back of the diaphragm having a chance to relax here. And then walk your hands back over the blankets to your knees. Take your same block that you were just resting your forehead on, place it like this, and use it as a seat for kneeling for a few moments. Yeah. Rest your hands in your lap and let yourself come back into awareness of that which is precious to you. Sometimes we can recall that which is precious to us. We can also practice that which we now value or appreciate. And we know sometimes those things become vulnerable or susceptible, like mental clarity might be precious to us. And there'll be times where our mental clarity seems elusive, or even-heartedness may be something that we find precious and it may become challenged. So you can include a sense of that as well when you reflect right now. Now we have our 2 blankets. We're going to do another practice to release the diaphragm. And with your 2 blankets, you can keep them stacked, and you can also keep them on the horizontal line of your mat. I'm going to scoot mine forward. I have to hurdle over the kitten. Now take the top blanket, and because it's folded in such a way as this is too wide for the space between your ribs and your hips, I'm going to ask you to take the top blanket and fold it one more time. In fact, I'm rolling mine so that the top of my blanket is like a blanket roll. And that's where the belly button is going to go. Isn't that fun? Okay, you get to come down to a support for your head. It would not be uncommon for you to feel your heartbeat on that blanket roll right there. And so what we're going to do is let there be a little bit of rolling side to side, and that rolling is something that you can consider to be rhythmic, excuse me, and slow. And you're going to bend both knees, tuck the toes under, place your hands beneath your shoulders, press up to table pose. Notice the release in the belly. At the back of the waist, the inner belly and the ribs, kind of explore, okay, what happens there from belly bolster? And we're going to repeat. So if you got your blankets disrupted, you make them snug again, and then belly button. And this time, bend your knees so your feet point up towards the ceiling, and treat the shins like windshield wipers that are going to rock slowly side to side. The purpose of this is not just to massage the belly, and it has nothing to do with penitence or punishment. You might notice there's some tension in the belly. It could be what you ate or how you slept or what your thoughts are. But the purpose of this is actually to release tension in the belly to help us with a little more ease in the nervous system overall, to help us with the inhale-exhale suspensions, to help massage the psoas, the organs. So please bring your shins back to center. And then again, place your hands beneath your shoulders, curl your toes under, and press up to table pose. And then take the little roll you made at the top of your blankets, take that out, please, and set these up so that you're going to take them under your hips. Now I'm going to show you as a profile because that's better for you all, but I'd like you to have your pelvis and your sacrum now supported by the blankets. So when you lie down, put your sacrum on the high point of the blankets. Bend your knees and let the belly relax. So you just had, I don't know, shall we say the worst of it? You had the part of it that would be the most sensational. Let your mind come into the inner belly here, please. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Press your right knee open. Keep the left hip grounded, so the distance between your left hip and your right knee, that distance is increasing, rather than pressing the right knee open and the left hip going with you. Imagine lengthening your right thigh a little bit like a telescope, right? From your hip joint through your thigh towards your kneecap. And float your left knee up and bring your right shin towards your chest. If you were in our restorative class yesterday afternoon, we also used this pose for that time. So when you're bringing your right shin closer to your chest, for some of you, it's going to be possible to put your right forearm against your right thigh. Give a little support there. And slowly bring your left foot back to the floor. Take your right foot next to your left and observe the right low belly, right inner and outer hip. And cross your left ankle over your right knee. Keep the right hip heavy, right? So it's still grounded as you press your left knee open. Imagine it like a telescope, the left thigh telescoping from your hip towards your knee. And then pick up your right knee and bring your left ankle towards your right shoulder. You can take the left arm inside, right arm outside. And you might be able to place your left forearm against your left thigh right there. Yeah. And then please release your right foot back to the floor, left foot back to the floor. And again, pause to notice the left inner belly this time. We still have the hips elevated on the blanket, so you can relax the inner belly on both sides. And then pick up your hips and slide the blankets to go just behind your sitting bones. Take the legs out. And come to Savasana. This is really important, Shavasana, as a time of equalizing or reharmonizing, bringing homeostasis. You had kriyas or cleansing practices this morning. The belly bolster is also a significant movement in the inner body. So the resting now is more important than if you had just a basic asana practice. It's always important, but this Shavasana is extra important. And during this Shavasana, I'm going to ask you to have an awareness resting inside what is precious, including you can value what you have now that might change with aging or illness or difficult news. Like today, if you have mental clarity, if you have an evenness of heart, we're really feeling the preciousness of that. So let that rest in you. Let your attention rest on that inner question. And again, we rest on this question without grasping, without becoming sentimental. Really more for the inner experience of appreciation. To let everything rest. All of the actions now are reconciled. And your body comes back to homeostasis. Rest on that which is precious. Allow the integration to keep going more deeply yet again, so the mind doesn't wander away. Rest your attention on that which is precious within you, around you, beyond you. Continue allowing yourself to simmer in the integration process. The body can get really heavy and relaxed. Your mind at rest on that which is precious. Now one more minute resting in that which is precious. Just around the outside of your awareness, start to become aware of the ways in which you get pulled away from the precious, perhaps in the present moment, but also in daily life. Imagine that your focus on what is precious makes a larger inner refuge for the precious to be considered before an intrusion or a kind of hijacking or the thing that pulls you away. You have to know the difference between the precious and the prohibitive, as it were. So when you have a sense of that, now please wiggle your toes and fingers. And bend your knees one at a time. Roll to your side. And return to your seat for meditation. And I'm going to come back to my seat also for meditation. It's a really important time for meditation today. I'd like us to use the method of an exhale suspension that leads us to a natural kind of meditative capacity. You can rest your hands out over your knees. You're welcome to close your eyes. Acclimate to being upright. And just witness the breath and the body right now. Meditation is said to be even more powerful than Shavasana. Shavasana brings us to our capacity for the meditative state. So we'll practice this one specific kind of breath technique. You can do it once with me. If it's something you understand, you can do it twice and then sit in meditation. This is called exhale suspension. So at the end of a deliberate exhale, I'll have you squeeze the belly like squeezing a sponge. Then you, without inhaling, you relax the belly and make a pretend inhale that whisks the inner body into the three bandhas suspension. And then we release that and we sit on our lily pad for meditation. I mean, it feels like you're floating when I say lily pad. Let's try it once together. So inhale, lower, middle, upper, all three, up to a small suspension. And exhale from the low belly and consistently exhale. So you're toning, squeezing all the way to the end of the exhale with patience. At the end of the exhale, without inhaling, release the exhale muscles, pretend to inhale. And then release the bandhas and exhale. This is called Uddiyana Bandha. You're welcome to try that once more or simply to rest, having even just one little effort at it. Imagine yourself sitting in that which is most precious now. Invite your mind to stay at rest in that which is precious. Please bring your hands together. Anjali Mudra. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Mm-hmm.